Hello friends, my name is Tawfiq and you're watching my channel Graphics Den. So in this video in Photoshop, we'll see what are smart objects in Photoshop and how are they useful while designing anything in Photoshop. So this is a very basic introduction to the smart objects. We can do so many things using smart objects, but in this particular video I will only introduce you to the smart objects. So let's get started. So I have opened a couple of images. So what I'll do is I will drag this particular image onto the other image. Now let's say if I reduce the size of this image and press enter and press return if you are using Mac, and if I increase the size again and again press enter, as you can see the quality is compromised. With the size the quality has also decreased. So once you drag any image onto other image and decrease the size or reduce the size, the quality also reduces, as you can see over here. But if I do the same thing with the smart objects, then the quality remains intact. I'll show you how. So first of all, we need to convert this particular image into a smart object, and it is very easy to convert. So you can simply click on the layer itself, right click and convert to smart objects, and you can do the same thing, smart object, and this is the symbol or icon of the smart object. I'll press undo, Ctrl Z or Command Z, and you can do the same thing using the layer menu, layer, smart object, and convert to smart object. So this is the icon or symbol of the smart object. So this is now converted into a smart object. Now I'll do the same thing which I did with this earlier image. I'll reduce the size, press enter. Again I will increase the size of this particular image and again press enter, and as you can clearly see the quality hasn't been compromised in this particular case because this is a smart object. So in case of smart object, quality remains intact, meaning the quality doesn't reduce. But in case of raster image, this is called as raster image. Anything consisting of pixels is called as raster image, so or our basic regular image. So in this case the quality reduces if you reduce the size, but in case of smart object the quality remains the same. The quality remains intact. Even if you increase or decrease the size, the quality remains intact. So this is the basic difference between the raster, this is our raster image, and our smart object. So what are other differences between the raster and the our smart object? So I'll delete this first of all and I'll again drag this particular image. So this is our raster image again because we haven't converted this into a smart object. Now what I'll do is I will apply some filter. You can apply maybe adjustment or filter. I will apply filter. Let's say I'll apply blur and Gaussian blur. So I can reduce, increase or decrease the value. Let's say I'll want 4.6. okay. So now once I have applied any filter on this particular image, I cannot change the value. I can undo this, but I cannot alter the values of Gaussian blur now. But in case of smart object, I will select the smart object and I'll do the same thing, blur, Gaussian blur. But once we convert any image into a smart object, we have some options which will be deactivated or inactive because the property changes. In this case we cannot apply lens blur. Again, if I show you, I'll go to image adjustments. We can apply almost any value from the adjustment panel, but in case of smart object we cannot apply all the values. As you can see, these are inactive, so we cannot apply any value from here. So this is a basic difference, but we can surely apply the Gaussian blur. I will apply Gaussian blur. Now what is the difference? So as you can see, we have got another option over here which is called smart filter. So it is automatically created because we have applied the filter to the smart object. So this has been created automatically. Now this is our filter which is Gaussian blur filter. So we can reduce even after applying the filter onto this smart object. We can still alter or change the value of the Gaussian blur or any filter that we use. Simply double click on this particular option and as you can see we can decrease and the changes will appear on the smart object. we can increase or decrease the value. And not only this, we can apply multiple filters and we can shuffle between the filters. So for example, if I apply multiple filters on, let's say I will apply this mezzotint filter. So now I cannot go back to the Gaussian blur filter in this raster image, but in case of smart object I will apply the same effect first, mezzotint, and okay. But because this is a smart object, I can shuffle between the two filters. So if I simply turn off Gaussian blur by clicking on this eye icon, I will only get mezzotint filter over here. And if I turn both off, then I will get my original image. And if I only want Gaussian blur, I will get Gaussian blur, then mezzotint. And if I want to alter some effects, then I can again change the effects like this. And if I want to reduce the opacity, I can simply go over here, double click, and I can again reduce the opacity as well, like this, which is not possible in case of our regular raster image. Raster image is basically, as I told you earlier, is our regular image which consists of pixels. Anything in Photoshop is consists of pixels. Any photo or any video is consist of pixels. That is why it is called as raster image. This is raster image. So this is the main difference between our raster image and our smart objects. There are so many other uses of smart filters, or rather smart objects, like creating mockups. That is a very good use of smart objects, but we will see that in any other video. But for introduction, I think this is enough for this video, and I hope you understand the difference between our raster image and this smart object. So this is basically the main difference between smart objects, and these are the benefits of converting any object into smart object. And if you want to see the original image, you can simply go to double click on this particular thumbnail, double click. Now this is the original image. Now we are inside the smart object, and if I make any changes over here, so let's see if I draw any shape over here, and I will color this, and I will save this, Ctrl S or Command S, and I will close. So as you can see, whatever change I make in the smart object, it will occur on the outside as well. So now I cannot change this particular object. If I want to change this particular object, I have to go inside the smart object. And how to enter the smart object? Simply double click on this thumbnail, double click. And if I want to remove, simply delete, Ctrl S or Command S to save, and this is the result that we get. So this is the basic difference between smart object and our raster image. I hope you understand what I explained in this video, and if you do understand, give this video a vote and do subscribe to my channel. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye and cheers.